First of all, no one died, which is quite sad because I was waiting for people to drop like flies. Bang-chan, do you know what nodding is? And the entire queue goes silent. Because like death is an option that is right there and staring at you, and yet you go, oh, I'm gonna misunderstand what you just said. Hello, welcome back to my monthly book reviews. I don't know if it's a welcome back or just like welcome at all. Like welcome if you haven't never seen me before. You're like, who is this bitch? Welcome. Miria, wherever you prefer. I don't really care. So you can take your pick out of my names. Welcome back to my monthly little reading recaps that I've been doing. It's been quite fun, honestly. It feels like a journal. I don't know if anyone's been watching other than like my friends, but it's better if I just think that it's just my friends because that way I won't panic about the fact that more than two people are perceiving me on the internet. So I also changed my mic settings. We'll see how that goes. Might be terrible, might be great because I have the little fan right here because it's like 50 million degrees in London. Global warming. 10 out of 10. Anyway, welcome. This is the July recap. So I'm going to I'm going to be telling you about all of the books I read and DNF'd actually in July. I forgot it. I'm going to grab it. We have added the one book, so now you probably know which one I DNF'd, but it's okay. Overall, my recap for July was really strong. We had an extremely strong start, which if you watched my June recap will know is a book that I mostly read in June, but I finished on July 1st. And I was going to cheat and be like, well, that's a June read. But I couldn't choose between it and Hera the Ninth as my top reads for June. So I decided to keep it for July because I simply refuse. I simply refuse. And what, like, I'm just gonna go straight. Where is she? Well, straight. Straight is not the word for this book because toxic, vampire, lesbian. I apparently have a thing for toxic lesbian books where they're trying to gaslight me for like 500 pages because there was this bitch and there's been Harrow right before it. I read them like one after the other. So a lot of lesbian gaslighting. It was great though. Loved it. 10 out of 10. But this was the start of my July, which we finished on July 1st. And it was so, so good. It was absolutely stunning. I've talked about it in my June read, but I didn't go too much into detail. So we're going to do that now. My fall review, in case you're interested, is on my Instagram because I post there as well. And I have never plugged this on my Instagram because I'm terrified of people there finding me here. I don't know why. Really scary. But if you've come from there, welcome. Hi. I know I put it in one of my captions. I'm still terrified by that. We're going to pretend I didn't do that. Anyway, toxic vampires. So we follow the story of three women throughout this book. We follow Maria, Charlotte, Lottie, and Alice. We start with Maria in the early, I think it's like a mid 1500s in Spain. And we follow her, how she starts out as like, noble family. I just realized my neighbors are on the balcony and looking at me. Oh well. I'm gonna look crazy. It's fine. Where was I? Oh yeah. So Maria is from a like lower tier noble family and she's trying to marry above her station because she wants freedom, she wants independence, she wants to leave, and go and explore and have all of her dreams. And she marries Andreas. Probably all of the options were wrong, but she marries a man. Ew, I know. But she marries that man and turns out it really wasn't, the freedom she was wishing for. However, she meets a lady that offers her freedom for a price, but still. And if there's one thing about Maria is that she's power hungry and I love her. She is insane, and evil, and does not care about anyone except for herself. And you know what? Slay girl. I'm with you on that. You deserve to do everything. There is nothing I love more than like a toxic, manipulative woman in a book. I love them and I loved her. She was such a fun character to follow. We also follow Lottie or Charlotte, who is in, I think she's in like the Regency era, also from a noble family, was in a whole scandal because she's a lesbian. And obviously that's a problem because it's Regency era and that's not very, So she can't be out. She gets caught. There's a whole scandal. She gets sent off to London where she meets this widow that's like really hot and really attractive. And that's also offering her her freedom. And we might know her or we might not. But she's offered her freedom. And then the third woman we follow is Alice, and she's a student. I think she's in Boston. Does it say where? I think she's in Boston. Boston. I was right. But she goes to Boston because she's Scottish and she wants to leave her old life behind because shit went down and she wants a new, fresh start where she gets to be a new person and where she gets to have what one night stands and do crazy stuff that she would never do before. And then she wakes up after said one night stand and she's dead. So she doesn't know how she got there. She doesn't remember the girl who killed her. She doesn't remember anything. And we kind of follow them and their stories through the years. And oh, it was so good. It was so, so good. I will say, if you need action in a book to stay into it, this is not for you. This was 100% character led. This was quite slow. I'm usually a slow book hater, but I found myself enjoying them a little bit more recently. But I really like this because I felt like there was enough still to keep you interested and to keep you wanting a little bit more, even though there wasn't that much action going on. So I really enjoyed it for that. But yeah, if you need, big action, not for you. It's gonna be slow. It's very character led. There's really not much going on, but it's delicious and it's really good. And I went to the event, to Schwab's book tour event, and it was so interesting to get to hear her talk about the book and how it came to be and why she's writing this and why this story is important to her, and then getting to read it made it so I think I read it with a lot more of a like critical mind and really changed the way I was approaching it, and I really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. I usually kind of go into books blind. I'm like, oh, that sounds good, let me just read it. But this one I consumed like a lot of content first and then I read it, and it was really interesting. I don't know that I would do that all the time, but for this it was really worth it. Now I'm going to say some spoilers, so I'm going to put whatever time on the screen. You can go away, you don't have to listen to them because I'm going to spoil the ending for the book, but I need to talk about it. I need to talk about it. Okay, now that those people are gone, Charlotte. I have so much to say about Charlotte. I literally sent like my best friend. I sent her so many voice notes of me being like, I fucking hate Charlotte. She's a bitch. She's an idiot. And Charlotte really irritated me, but like in a good way, right? Like she's written well enough to irritate you like a real person would. Like she was in my life and I was, irritated at her. Like this was the same energy. Manfred is really staring at you guys. He feels accurate, skeleton for necromancy and like vampire is pretty good. Anyway, she feels like you would get angry at her in real life for the stupid shit she's pulling. But when she's doing her whole like escaping from Sabine and like running away and she's like, oh my god, Sabine is haunting me. First of all, the fact that Sabine can haunt her without actually being there and that she has weaseled her way so deeply into her mind that she actively haunts her, and Charlotte is like incapable of living just because Sabine is somewhere in the world is so cool, and I love her. I love Sabine. I love how insane she is and how like unhinged. Like I don't support obviously stalking and murdering your ex. Yeah, I guess they are exes. Your ex's new girlfriend, like not great. However, low-key love to see it in this book. Low-key love to see it. I obsessed with Sabine. But her whole, like, Lottie's whole, like, oh, she's killing all of the people. Like, it's her fault. Like, why is she killing everyone I'm in love with? Girl, maybe if you, like, stopped putting people in danger, they would stop dying. Like, I feel like you are a big part of the problem. And you are really annoying me. However, this is where the gaslighting comes in. Lottie is such an unreliable narrator. And this is what makes it so good, because you get to like halfway through the book, right? And then it changes to Lottie's POV. And then you realize that most of Lottie's POV that we get about her life with Sabine and how she's talking about it and how she was being haunted and how it's all Sabine's fault and she is, she's such a good person and she had nothing to do with any of the deaths. It's so good because it's her telling this story and she's lying and she's gaslighting people, and because she's telling this story to Alice specifically, right? So she's trying to convince Alice to be like, I'm good, she's bad, you have to side with me and not with Sabine because I'm the good person, right? So she's like actively trying to talk to you through the book, through Alice, to convince you that she's actually a good person. And I think she's trying to convince herself as well, but she's not a good person. She's kind of shit as well. Like, yeah, she's a victim, but she's also a perpetrator. Like, you can be both, and she is 100% both. But I loved the way it was written because of, like, that gaslighting. And, like, if you don't think about it, you might believe her. Like, normal people would believe her if she's, like, telling you the story. But when you stop and you're like, oh, no, like, this is wrong. Like, also, like, even through her own words, you're kind of like, you're not that good of a person. And then there's more, and you're like, oh, she's trying to convince Alice. She's trying to tell Alice that she's good. And I really loved that. I really, really loved that. Like I said, gaslighting lesbians. I don't know what it is about them, but they make for great books. And finally, Alice. I know a lot of people dislike the ending. I've seen a lot of people talk about the ending and how they really wished for Alice like break the cycle and go on and live her best life and everything. I love that she's doomed by the narrative. But this is again me. I love a good doomed by the narrative character. I love someone who is stuck in this loop and that can't escape it. It's kind of like the Poppy War, it's like the wheel kind of where you get stuck into the system and this repetitiveness and you can't escape it. And yeah, it would have been fun like if she got to escape and live her best life and she's no longer whatever trapped in this whole thing. But it's more fun. It's more fun that she was doomed from the beginning and that she remains doomed to the end, and that at the end of the book she accepts it and she's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm dead and I'm a vampire, and I'm gonna go and like kill people. And I love it. I love it. Really good. Really, really love this book. I would read more, honestly. But also one thing that Schwab said when we were at her talk, if I find the clip, I'll insert it. But when we were at her talk, she was talking about how some bodies just come with violence. You don't have a choice, that when you are in a certain body, you are inherently violent by virtue of, your gender, your sex, all of that. And I think it's so beautifully portrayed in this because, yes, the bean gets worse and like has the whole like vampire rot from within or whatever. She starts with so much violence in her, right? She starts so hungry and so violent, and they all start so hungry and so violent in different ways. And I just really good, really good. Female rage, toxic vampire lesbian. 5 stars, 6 stars if I could. Absolutely obsessed with it. I love Schwab. Her writing is just gorgeous. Also, my best friends are this is the book group chat. They're talking about a book. What book is it? Oh, a motorcycle romance. Okay, Emma. I don't know what she's reading. Anyway, but this. And yeah, this is the end of like the spoilers. Loki convinced me that I should give Addie LaRue a chance because it wasn't even on my radar. I kind of felt like I knew I wouldn't like it. But maybe I would. Maybe since I love this, I would. The door just closed on its own. That was kind of creepy. I'm also trying to be quick because my friend is coming and I really don't want her to find me filming this because I'm still really awkward about it. So we're gonna try and be a bit quick. Anyway, next book was RDNF. And RDNF was just a dare that I was reading on my Kindle. I wasn't reading it here. But I started this and I really wanted to love it. And it's something about this is what I mean when I say I usually go like I raw dog most books. No idea what it's about. It is, I wrote it down, the synopsis, because I read this in preparation. It's like a runaway queen that makes a deal with her enemy to like gets her kingdom back or something. I read like 50 pages. I still had no idea who was who and what the fuck was happening. Okay, my camera silenced me. But yeah, I did like the I just quit because I was like, I was not in the mood to give it a chance. I think I would quite like it. I really wanted to like it, and I have heard so much good about it. I think I just was not in a place. Like I had just finished Bury Your Bones, and I was looking for something that would not give me more of a book hungover that I already was so hungover from my book. I was like, I need something good. And it just was not hitting the spot. And I think I'll give it another chance at some point. Because I think the second one just came out as well. So I'll come back to it someday, sometime. Now, we're gonna ignore what I'm actually reading. Imagine that this is Zodiac Academy, The Reckoning, because of course I'm back in Zodiac. This is what I do when I have like, book hungover or like I'm in a slump. I just read a Zodiac book to get me over because they are so entertaining, yet so absolutely fucking unhinged. What was going on in that book? I need those authors to like answer some questions as to how they come up with the bullshit that they have come up with. I'm still working on making like a Zodiac plot recap. So this is gonna come at some point when I think I'm gonna do like 4 books at a time because I think there's 12 total. I'll do like 4 for 4. Feels better than half because there's so much happening in each book. Like literally, like this book, right? This is what Reckoning, The Reckoning that we've been talking about since book 1. The fact that it took 3 books to get here, 3 books and a little bit, to be fair. Like it really took a while to get here. But they were like, what, 3 months into school at this point? Like this is the entry exam. And we are already on book 3. And so much was going on. And they've already fucked like half of the school. So really, so many questions. Also, look at that. Isn't that like gnarly? Fried chicken. It's so bad. I fell over. It's fine. I can move it. But it looks gnarly. What was I saying? Zodiac. Yeah, so much was happening. Also, The Reckoning, they've been like building it up, like the entire 2.5 books building this thing up. Like, oh, people don't survive. Like, it's so difficult. It was basically like it wasn't even a triathlon. It was easier than a triathlon. It was so easy. It kept on being built up like, oh my god, you're all gonna die. First of all, no one died, which is quite sad because I was waiting for people to drop like flies. No one died. It was so easy and everyone was like fine with it. I'm like, we've been talking about this for 2.5 books and that's it. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to spoil the book, so I'm just gonna I will say one thing. Ryan and Darcy, vile. Orion specifically, vile. I do not understand how anyone can find this man attractive. I don't know how Darcy finds him attractive. Disgusting. He is disgusting. Their entire relationship is disgusting, which I knew was gonna be, but like it's worse than usual. It's like actually disgusting. Hated every second of that. However, Darius, why he kind of hot? Like what? Who allowed the dragon to be kind of hot? Rude, but he's growing on me. Excited to see what more is coming in that series because I know the one spoiler about Tori and Darius. Like I know what they are because I watched Carrie Can Reed's recap, but don't know anything of how we're gonna get there and how they're gonna find out because it's kind of obvious, but they haven't figured it out yet. So I feel really smart because I'm like, I know and you don't. But we'll get there. Also, funny story, we went to watch Stray Kids at the beginning of this month. Twice. I did both nights. I had the first night. We were in the queue. And we were there quite early, so we had to queue. And first story that was really funny. We were in this queue and we were joking about like what to put on a sign. And we were like, we should ask them if they read Omegaverse because it's Stray Kids. We're not gonna do it before anyone comes in and be like, oh my god, this is so inappropriate. I'm never gonna ask someone like, what fan fiction do you read? Like, I barely ask this to my best friends, okay? We were being silly goofy and we were joking. We are not the Lulu, okay? We are not the calm in the storm. We are not his prey, if you get that reference. Anyway, wrong fandom, but it just feels so fitting. But we weren't gonna do any of that. We were joking around. And then my friend goes, Emma, if you're watching this is about you. But she goes, Bang-chan, do you know what nodding is? And the entire queue goes silent. the entire queue, and then two people turn around and look at her and go, "This is all we've heard of your conversation." I think that was the funniest thing that has ever happened to me. Mainly because I wasn't the one to be embarrassed. I'm sorry, Emma. It was really, really funny. And then we were like in the second queue. There were like so many queues, so much queuing. But we were in the second queue, and I was telling my friend the plot of Zodiac. I think my friend is here. Oh no. Oh no. But I was telling my friend the plot of Zodiac, and I was telling her about, the homoerotic bond between Orion and Darius. And someone turns around and goes, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "It's a book." And then someone else turns around and they're like, "Well, do you like fantasy and romance?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then it turns out she was like a PR person for an author who was also in the queue with us, whose Instagram I now have. So very exciting shit. Very exciting. We were PRing in the Stray Kids queue. Anyway, next book. I don't know if I'll have time. I might not be able to get through them. We're gonna try because I want to be able to edit this tomorrow. I read This Savage Song. Look at, first of all, my gorgeous. Look at that. Gorgeous Illumicrate edition of the Savage Song. And it has like beautiful hand papers. Are they different? I forget. They are. Oh, this is August. There we go. These are the characters. Oh, and look at that. Isn't this stunning? This is just the first one, and it has like really pretty edges as well. Anyway, sorry, I had to show it off. But I read The Savage Song. Again, Schwab coming in a clutch because we were having a breakdown. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's like a YA book, and I love me some YA to like get me through a slump. It's always what I need. It's great. She never lets me down. We love V. Schwab. Anyway, the story is about Kate, Harker, and August Flynn, who are kids, well, teens, same thing, who are on heirs to a divided city, and they're each on one side of the fight. And this war in their city that's been going on for a few years is breeding actual monsters and demons, and the end of the world is upon us. Not really, but monsters and demons and all of that are coming and are there. They're supposed to be on opposite sides of the war, but shit happens and they end up having to work together. And they're really fucking cute. They're really cute. I really like them. August is really struggling not to become the demon that he's kind of, destined to be. Like he is going to be a monster. And it's kind of written in his story, and his brother is dragging him down with him. But he really doesn't want to be a monster. Meanwhile, Kate is throwing herself into the monsterdom because she wants to impress her dad, who is a monster. Well, kind of. He's horrendous, so I would call him monstrous. And she's trying to impress him, so she's acting like a monster. And I basically, trying to get through this war and through stuff. And it was so good. Such a fun and refreshing magic system. Truly, really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. The characters were really fun. And I really wanted to pick up the second one like right after, which I never do. Never. There's a reason I start all of those series and I never finish them, because I always pick up the first one and I'm like, oh, I need a break, and I never read number 2. This one I was like, I really want to read it, but I was on a tight timeline, so we had to, be quick, and I have not read that yet, but I will be reading it soon, hopefully by the end of the year. Anyway, last one, Tusk Love by Thea Guanzon. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If it's not obvious by my Scanlan t-shirt that I wore just for the occasion, and Matt Mercer looking over you, I love Critical Role. And this is from the world of Critical Role. And obviously I was going to read it. And my friend Emma, who we have mentioned, the nodding person. If this is her legacy, I'm going to be so proud of myself. But she read this and she gave it a 5 stars. And I was like, well, first of all, look at the cover. Isn't it stunning? I will say the alternate, first of all, the end papers are beautiful, but the alternate dust cover, it's Jasker. Oh my god, I forgot their names. I haven't watched the 99 yet. Please don't judge me for that. I'm still working on Vox Machina. I'm like halfway through, but I'm watching the whole thing and not the Amazon series. Well, I'm watching both, but I have, the campaign first. I'll put their names. I swear I know them, but now I'm trying to remember them. I don't remember them. They look so cute, and they're right here. And on the alternate cover, it's written by Matilda Merceria, and that actually took me out. That was so funny. Oh, and all of like the Rex are from characters from their campaign. So iconic. Jester. I was right. Jester. Who is Jaskier? I feel like there's one of those. But anyway. Critical Role fan. Was gonna read the Critical Role book. I had to. Look at. Why wouldn't I? This is the story of Guinevere, our beautiful lady right here, who is a merchant's daughter who was like literally born, bred, raised to be like her parents' like pathway into nobility. Except there's something wrong with her. Well, wrong is a strong word, but there's something going on with her, and she's not quite, the perfect daughter that they were hoping for. I think she's better, but that's just my opinion. But she's great, and however, she's on her way to go get married to a man that she has never met, who is supposedly not old though. So, a win for us girlies. But she's on her way to get married. Her caravan gets attacked, and she is rescued by Oscar, our beautiful little half orc. He's not a full orc. I almost said orc. He's a half orc. He rescues her, and obviously he's dashing and handsome. And I'm gonna say it's a little bit insta-lovey, but it is cute enough that I'll let it pass. I'm usually against it, but I let it pass for these two. They're really cute. But yeah, Oscar helps her, and he gives up his little quest to go and like honor his dead mom, to take her home to her parents safely. Obviously, things happen on the way, and they low-key fall in love. Well, low-key is a small word for what actually happens. It's spicy, by the way. Just saying. It's quite spicy. Yeah. They're really cute. And like I said, these are my notes. I knew I was gonna love it because I love Critical Role. And this is set in Exandria. It's not in Taldore. If you know your Critical Role, it's not in Taldore, but it is in Exandria, and they do reference Taldore, and the Raven Queen gets mentioned. And I was just sat there like, oh, bitch. I know her, but she gets mentioned, and it's quite funny. So there's that. Really good, really good. I will say, it's not that thick. Like, it's a pretty thin book. I think it's like 250. How many pages are you? 270 pages. I think it could have been 200. I think we could have rounded it up. I did feel like it dragged on a little bit. But I am also a hater of like cozy romantasy. Like, I get really bored in cozy romantasy. This managed to not make me bored because it's not a cozy romantasy, even though it's slow. This was a cozy romantasy, and I'm not one for either of those things. I did rate it a 4-star, so I did still really like it, but could have been a bit shorter, and I would have enjoyed it more. I also think the third act breakup, we need to stop putting them in books. They need to be banned. If I get another romance book who puts a third act breakup, which I know I will because every single fucking romance book has a third act breakup, get more creative. Authors, please. There's so many options. So many options. You could kill people. It is like death is an option that is right there and staring at you, and yet you go, oh, I'm gonna misunderstand what you just said. Really? Anyway, like I said, not a fan. Third act breakups, really annoying. Also, one thing that is like really irrelevant in the grand scheme of the book. The book was still really good. But one thing that personally irritated me was the tusks. Like, you can see, they're really, I don't know how much you can see. I don't know if that's gonna, yeah. So his tusks are like this big, right? In the fan art, literally this big. The way they get talked about in this, you would assume his tusks are like, half the side of his fucking face, because every time they kiss, it's a romance book, spoiler alert, I guess, but yeah, like every time they kiss, every time she goes to like be close to him, I need to put things down. I'm holding everything. ADHD. Every time she goes to kiss him or like hold him or something, she's like, oh my god, like the tusks are so big, like what if they hurt me? What will they hurt me if I touch them? And then I finished the book and I read it without the dust cover, because who reads hardcovers with the dust cover on? Like, what kind of psycho does that? But I read it without the dust cover, and I went to put it back after I finished, and I saw his tusks, and those are hardly, like, vampires have longer fangs than this. Like, this is, what do you mean are they gonna hurt me? They're like this big. Where she was being so dramatic about the tusks. So dramatic. You would genuinely think like they're like, half his fucking face. They're not. They're small and puny. And I don't understand why they're made into such a big deal. And I know, again, Emma, if you're here, yes, I will complain about it because it's stupid. It's stupid. It does not make sense. This is the things that really irritate me, is when things do not make sense, and this does not make sense. You could have so easily just not focused on the Tusks, but you chose to focus on the Tusks, and then give him puny little Tusks. Give him the big ones. Make him look like a Horker from Skyrim. Shame on you. My camera's gonna shut me up. This is Emma living in my camera. See, I called it. I fucking called it. Shut me up. Anyway, this is all I have to say about this. Again. Oh, one more thing, actually. While reading this, I could hear Matt Mercer. As if he doesn't haunt me enough in literally every single video game or anime I ever watch or play. He also haunted me in this because I could hear him. I was reading those words and I'm like, oh, I can hear him. I can hear him.
Fucking Mercer! 19!
Love you, Matt. Big love to you. You still haunt me everywhere, and it's really funny. Good thing he's really talented. Because if he wasn't, that would be a really big problem. But here I am with my Manfred pillow. So really, what does that say about my relationship with Matt Mercer? Bless him. Love him. Very excited for the new campaign. Even though he's not gonna be DMing. I'm kinda obsessed with that. I'm kinda happy he won't be because I really want to see him play. And it's the first campaign that I can watch from the beginning. Very excited. Excited to fall in love with whatever character Taliesin Jaffe comes up with, because I know whatever he comes up with, I'm gonna be a slut for. I have a picture with Taliesin Jaffe. You guys don't know that, but I went to MCM just for Taliesin. That's not true. I went to MCM and then Critical Role was there, and then I got a picture with Taliesin Jaffe because he's my favorite. I also love Laura. I love them all. I'm saying this if there's someone I don't like on that cast. I would die for all of them. Let's be so honest with ourselves. I'm a Percy girly. I'm just a Percy girl. I'm just a girl. Anyway, let me talk. Final book. I think I'm actually going to do this before Reda comes here, which is very impressive. But you might have been like, oh, you saw it now. But if you were wondering what this fucking brick was that was just standing there, gorgeous. Sprayed edge, by the way. A moment for the Illumicrate edition. I'm not sponsored, but I would love to be. But this is my stunning Roots of Chaos Illumicrate edition. I also have the other one, which is not Priory. Day of Fallen Night. There we go. It took a second to load, but Day of Fallen Night. I have both of them, and I just got the third one, the Burning Flowers one. Really excited. But I just started this. Well, just started as a word. I was in Paris for 3 days. 3 days? 3 days. Not for anything exciting, but I was in Paris, and I was reading my entire time in Paris, and I read like 13%. Which you might think that's puny. Yes, it is. You know why it's puny? Because look at this. What is this? It's so many pages, guys. My Kindle says there's 20 hours left. I don't know if I'm going to finish this month. I'm going to be so honest. I might pick something up at the same time because I don't think I'm capable of just staying focused on this. I am enjoying it. It's really good. And it finally starts making sense. Like, where I got to the point where everything clicks. I'm also not reading it physically because this edition is way too beautiful to be lugging around with me. Also, I would be able to kill someone if I threw it. This is not going to be in my bag. I'm reading it and there's 20 hours left. And I think I'm at like 15%-ish, which is like, oh God, like 80. I think I'm like at 80 pages. I read like this much of the book. Oh, horrible visualization. But it's finally starting to make sense. And I love that. Do you want to see the inside? I'm going to be showing it off whenever I finish reading it again. But look at this. Isn't it stunning? It wraps around. So beautiful. I'm really excited. And there's this inside. Fucking gorgeous. So beautiful. And I love it very much. And I'm very excited. We're good. It's not my friend. She's not here yet. I get to finish this video. I'm actually pretty proud. I was very efficient today. Yeah, thank you for hanging out with me and listening to me. Yeah, if you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, also welcome. Hi. Thanks for staying with me. Thanks for listening. If my chaos was fun, you are invited. Let me put this back in here so that it looks cool for my ending. But I invite you to, what's the word? Subscribe. Clearly, I'm so good at this. I invite you to subscribe. I invite you to leave any comments you want. Have you read any of these books? Do you like them? How do you feel about Matt Mercer? How do you feel about Campaign 4? And about Matt non-DMing? Because I know critters. I have seen critter Twitter. That rhymes. But I have seen that. And I know a lot of people are not happy, but I think it's pretty cool. I'm excited to see how much they're gonna fight against each other within the group to romance Matt. Like that's what I'm sad. My bet is Liam. I think Liam, whoever he plays, is gonna be trying to romance Matt. Everyone's gonna try and romance Matt, but Liam specifically, I feel like I love that, honestly. Anyway, this is it. This is all I have to say. I'm gonna stop yapping. I'm gonna go put everything away before my friend comes. And I will see you next month. Hopefully, if I read more than one book. Crossing fingers, say bye to Matt. We've got say bye to Matt Mercer, Manfred, say bye to Gusterion, and say bye to the common cold. Anyway, have a great day.